Hello, hello. Time for a post on a market little action review. Let's see what we had going on today. Um, so that NQ, the gaps and the fibs definitely hit playing out. So in my morning video, I identified a couple very different um, all-time high gap up candles on SPY. There was the difference between, oh buddy, what were they? I accidentally cleared my drawings. Either way, probably like this one. Yeah, range consolidation, gap up, dump. And then there were like these. Um, and we ended up getting the all-time high gap up dump. The fibs and the gaps hit pretty well. So if I go over to NQ, fibbed out the huge pump candle that actually started this upward move. Got up to the 261. I said that could be resistance. Resistance here, resistance here. That's great. Right around the high of this sell-off candle makes good sense. Ended up putting in, basically a bearish hammer. Makes sense. And then the QQQ, the Qs came down. This gap as well was sitting here. So we filled the gap, come all the way down to the bottom side. I actually expected at least the bottom of this gap to be support, but we were so strong we just blasted on through it. Kept chugging down. So, pretty bearish there. If we then take a look at similar instances on the QQs, let's check it out. So we're not looking for an all-time high gap up because Qs did not actually hit all-time high, but definitely a consolidation, right? A rising push, gap up, big sell-off, right? Inside day, push, sell-off. Now this sell-off wasn't too crazy, ended in a slight bullish hammer, nothing crazy, but push up, sell-off, inside day, right? Push up, sell off, range day, not an inside, but definitely a range. Push up, gap, sell off, range. Now let's look at what days these are. Coincidentally, right? Thursday, Friday, inside range. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, inside range right here. Right? This is Friday, inside range. If this one's Friday, inside range. So, what do I expect here? Some little candle that sits around the ranges. Then how to actually play that, right? We'll be looking for whichever side of the candle it gets to first. Let's go ahead and mark these off. All right, there's one. This was the other Friday. There's two. Where's the other Friday? Is this sell off? Yep. This one. Okay. Now should I just get rid of these gaps? What happened last time? Pushed into the gap. Was the gap relevant after? Yeah, kinda. Let's get rid of that middle. So just keep the edges of the gap. And was there another example? Yes, there was. Okay. And let's see if we can find maybe. because now the market always does that till it doesn't, right? Um, but I mean, this is looking pretty crazy consistent. See if we can just find maybe a few more examples here. Gap up, that was a Friday push. It should be a fail. This is Thursday, Friday. Kinda a good example. Push, sell off Thursday. Okay, this one actually really pumped. So here's kind of a counter example. This one I will give a couple arrows. Because I'm sitting here pretty, I'm speaking extremely confidently on a range day, but it is absolutely certainly possible if we start right around here to just grind all the way up into, looks like, breaking the high. So that's certainly possible. Just got to keep that in mind. I mean, the moving averages, they were stacked pretty similarly. So definitely keep that in mind, that really anything like that can happen. But realistically, I mean, impulse move, right, gave us 5 range-ish days in a row. Boom, impulse move, sell off. I think another range day makes sense, especially if we're not going to go and break the highs. Now, what did these days look like on NQ? Let's check it out. This is going to be the 12th of July, the 20th of June, or the 21st. So the 12th of July, the 21st of June, the 24th of May, 12th July, 24th June, 12th July, 21st of June, 24th May, 12th July, 21st June, 12th July, 21st June, 25th May, 24th. Yeah, so on NQ, those days looked alike. Starting near the lows, we went lower, higher, formed a doji, simple doji. This actually pushed up in the end. And where are we starting here right now? We're starting near the kind of high of this kind of bearish, green bearish hammer. So none of these 3 days kind of really look like that. This one though would be a prime example, because this is pretty much what we just did. Actually, it's pretty much a replica of that. So let's look at Friday the 24th, which is okay. So I already had that one marked. Yeah, just a bit different here, because this Friday closed very bearish on the NQ, and then wait, we really closed positive. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. We started down here, we pushed up all day, and then we sold down here, and then we came back. Yeah, that makes sense. But on this day, we started here, pushed all the way up, sold all the way down, and Friday pushed back. So we started here, rised up, sold all the way down, pushed back. Started here, sold all the way up, bought all the way up, sold down. Started, sold down, bought back up. Bought, started, bought up, sold back down, continues. So, I don't want to base everything off of just like a mirror hypothesis, but hypothetically, if this kind of mirrors this, then we could see a continued sell-off just back to like this area, and then maybe just a buy back up. So we'll see. Could start, well, slight buyback up. Well, could be anything, but so I'm kind of thinking then a gap down overnight. Let's take a look at the VIX. Nope. I mean, still in this downtrend. I don't know if the moving averages matter too much on VIX, so I'm not gonna worry about that. But still in a pretty decent downtrend. Let's go over to the 30s. Ended up finding support all the way down at this anchor. Nothing crazy, just the slight higher lows. Good, pretty good short. Let's see what time we're at here. 11. Okay. Yeah, let's go over to the NQ, check what happened on these. Came up here, sold down, started here, sold all the way down. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense if we got that continued sell-off. Let's throw these fibs back on to kind of remember that. Yeah. So I think reasonably testing back down towards these lows, maybe like 100-ish points down to like 239. That wouldn't be too crazy. I don't know, it might just happen overnight. So we'll see about that. I mean, it would definitely make sense if this kind of lower highs comes on down. All right, so now let's look at the action today. Didn't really use anchors too much. We did have that untested top down. End up coming back there. All right, and now the 210 strat killed it today. Right? A little bit of MACD help. The two up here, 5 here. 15 1 hour, right? So at the beginning of the day here, we knew we were at our 261 extension. We knew we were pushing up, but we hadn't had really much confirmation. We were in a positive 10-minute cross. The 15 looked like it's about to cross back up, which is what I said, that this looks like 15-minute indicator reset to continue pushing back up. So then, though, the 10:30 candle came through, and it was a crusher, so I wait until the first 10-minute candle is printed, usually, to trade, unless it's pretty obvious. So once we got right here, so that all printed, and now we are definitely negative. So the 15-minute rejected the cross, the 2 hard crossed down, the 5 hard crossed down, the 10-minute CBC flipped down, and the EMAs flipped down. So now we were just looking for back tests into that cloud to go short. Which is it actually shied it the first time. I think it started touching it here, giving just a little, just some points, right? So hit the 9 here, in this 445, got down, with about 40 points, just kind of kept giving that, and then it dumped out. Nothing really to write home about. I mean, you got the cross, 2-minute cross up, but then it's still kind of sinking. You get the hard cross down off the 9, comes back into the 2 EMA cloud, continues going down. I mean, this was just pretty solid on the day. I mean, nothing really. We eventually got the 1 hour cross down, Still, the 15 was down this whole time. It came all the way back to retest the 10-minute EMAs. And even got a little bit of a long potential on the 10 cross up. It's 10-minute crossed up here off the EMAs. The EMA is crossed up, and you got a little move there with the 5-minute MAC crossing up, the 2-minute MAC crossing up as a heads up. So that was a little bit of something there for the long, and then ultimately got sold back down. We got that 10-minute EMA test, and then this 10-minute flip back short, and then it sold on back down just to the low, technically a lower low, I suppose. And then I was done like all the way back here. Wasn't short in the lows, and then we got a great long. I mean, the 10-minute flipped up along here, so 10-minute was long here, and then we got a retest of that cloud, right, at 2 p.m. And then after the retest of that cloud, got a good, let's say you're kind of late 280, got a whole 50 points. So that was pretty solid, and then we just kind of chopped out for the rest of the day. I think I'm kind of expecting a gap down at this point. At this point in time, I think I'm kind of expecting a gap down. I'll go ahead and hit the anchor. Yeah, so we got towards that zone. I mean, realistically, that's probably also just around a fib, right? Nothing crazy. 50 fib makes sense. Yeah, I think we're in store for a gap down, but I mean, ultimately, like I was saying at the beginning, I think this Friday is probably just going to be a little range day. Maybe break ever so slightly below the low, but then ultimately get kind of bought back up and close right within the range. But we'll see if, for starters, if we get that gap down. Technically, we are short biased. We have the 10-minute candle by candle short, and the EMAs are short, and that's still paying right here. Tested the cloud, dump. Tested the cloud, dump. Now we're kind of broke through the cloud, but did with a close, but then just reverted that close right here and reclosed back. But now the 5 minutes crossed up, so I mean maybe we get a bit of a shove down here, yank up, shove, and then ultimately turn back around towards the bottom side. But we'll see. I'm not gonna crystal ball this overnight price action, but I do think we're gonna get a bit of a gap down. I guess I could see, I was thinking about this day as the inverse in a way, because now we're starting near the top, and that one probably gapped up. Yeah, I mean, because it opened here and didn't even do anything. So, I'm kind of thinking that we'll get that gap down, but I mean, I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna go for it. If I look at the Mac dashboard, check that out. We got the 15 finally crossed back down. The 5's been crossed, but the 2's crossed up. The 30's crossed up, but kind of heading back down. The 1 hour's down, and the 4 basically just crossed down. So, I mean, that could actually use probably some recovery just to continue the waves. And yeah, I mean that's about it. That's all I got. I'm expecting the gap down, and then on Friday I'm figuring we're just gonna have a range day. but ultimately just going to play the strat. So that does it. Go ahead and call this recording a wrap. Have a good night.